That particular scripture lesson was God's message to those that believe, those that are faithful, that yes, this may be Jesus in that place, in that time, doing this particular work. That's our message today. We can be a nurturer. We can be able to reach people that don't necessarily have the same things that we have. We can share. We can share ourselves. We can share what we have to those that don't have. God's message today to us, to continue that. This is basically, we're following his lead.
Thousands of people with 7 loaves of bread. That's like, you only get like a little tiny crumb. I'd assume that they were kind of surprised with how they managed to feed thousands of people with 7 loaves of bread and some fish. Like, oh, we keep having more here. It's coming.
God will provide. And just how much from this story, not only did God provide, but there was left over. So it wasn't just that people were fed, they were nourished, which is, a basic human need that God provides for us and takes care for us, but that there was still left over. Because I think the disciples are an extension of Jesus, and I think it's a way for Jesus to teach the disciples that they too can go out and make a difference and to help others and to put that into action instead of just sit back and watch, but that you too can be instrumental in this.
Same thing essentially, which is that if you believe and if you think positively and if you work together, miracles can happen. So, whether you go to our church or whether you read the book The Secret, or whether, every religion essentially says the same thing, which is that we ourselves working in concert with one another and having faith can do miraculous things. So for me, that's what many of those stories are about.
Doing the seemingly impossible. And then also daring to do something on faith. The 7 loaves and the fish are just symbolic of taking what there is and doing something much more magnanimous with it. And so I think it relates very much to our stewardship. What we contribute can go so much farther with the contributions of everyone.
I mean, that is the miracle, right? It's that, here's the thing, like if you go to our church and as they did this morning, they do the laying on of hands, right? The thing that's so amazing about that is that if you think about the energy, like the physical energy of that, people who were in this church 300 years ago are involved in that process because someone in that group today had the hand of someone who's no longer here laid on them, and that person had the hand of someone. So the spiritual energy is unbroken since the beginning of, theoretically, since the beginning of our church, right? Not just this church, but wherever church these people came from.
We're expected to be a part of this larger thing, not to stand on the sidelines and let the miracles happen, but to be a part of it, to join in. There is a part that you can play. That way will be shown us if we have faith.
I think people are uncomfortable talking about money issues anyway. It's a difficult time now with the economy. People are scared. They don't know if they're going to have jobs tomorrow or next week. A lot of people, whether they're older adults or they have had parents who were of the Depression era, sometimes that mindset is to save everything and squirrel everything away. You don't know when you're going to need it.
Sharing, I think, is a large part of stewardship. And sharing is twofold. It's realizing you have something to give, then being willing to give it. It isn't a case of, I can't do that, but it is a case of what can I do, realizing there are other people out there, be it in your family or your church or your community, that you have something to contribute to them. from a smile to a word to something that is more tangible or more substantial than that.
It's just a call. I mean, it's just something that, it's like a feeling that I have. It's not an obligation. It's not because I'm expected to. It's like something that I just feel good about because I am connected, because I love this place and the people that much that I know that the financial support is very important. I want to support, I want to give back, I want to contribute. And I don't feel obligated to do so.
It's not one person running this organization and you're working for me. I think the church works by all the little parts, whatever your talent is or whatever money you can contribute, like right now with our roof and all of that going on. I mean, it's important or we're going to lose that sanctuary. I think it all fits into making the church a church. Your money, your time, your talents, or whatever you feel you can contribute.
And I find that on the Sundays that I least want to get dressed and go to church are probably the Sundays that I most need to go to church, because every time I get there, I think, oh, you know, I was really tied down in this whatever might be going on in my life, or, you know, whether it's redesigning my kitchen or, you know, one of my children threw their, you know, pajamas in the dishwasher. When I want to just stay home and fix something or deal with something, it's the best time for me to go and realize that it's big picture, you know. When I sit down and say, how much money should I be giving to the church, I have to think of it as this is a thing that I'm investing in for my family's future. And, you know, people send their children to private school. I don't do that. People send their children to the Y, whatever. I think you have to make a calculation for yourself. What is this worth in dollars to my family? The fact of the matter is, you know, even though this is about spirituality and religion and we're all happy and we all love each other, you know, I'm hoping that by going to a church, my kids are going to stay on the right path and they're going to grow up and be happy, productive citizens and go to college. And there's a dollar value in me not having to visit them in jail, you know? So I'm willing to pay it, whatever it is. Take that out.